Jon Stewart just obliterated Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, live, unfiltered, and with that signature Daily Show bite. They're so desperate to look noble, equipped, they'd pay for a mirror that calls them saints. In today's commentary, we unpack Jon Stewart's brutal takedown of the Sussexes, a segment that's got the internet on fire. The comedian didn't just mock their latest Humanitarian of the Year award, he questioned whether they bought it. Before we go further, tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because this one's global. From New York to London, people can't stop talking about the moment Stewart verbally roasted royalty. The spark? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's recent appearance at the Project Healthy Minds Gala in New York City, where they were honored with the Humanitarian of the Year award. Sounds inspiring, right? Until whispers began spreading that the award wasn't earned. It was arranged. Now, the former Daily Show host, known for his razor-sharp political commentary, took that rumor and turned it into television gold. Jon looked straight into the camera, his face a mix of disbelief and mock pity. So, let me get this straight, he said. You step away from royal duties to live privately, then pay someone to call you Humanitarian of the Year on live television? The audience erupted. Then came the kicker. That's not humanitarianism. That's marketing with extra steps. But you haven't heard the craziest part, because what Jon said next shifted from comedy to a character assassination. Stewart continued, comparing the couple's PR machine to a royal reality show with moral subtitles. He pointed out how nearly every appearance the Sussexes make, from mental health panels to charity galas, ends up feeling more like a brand relaunch than a cause. Integrity is a Netflix episode, he said, pacing across the stage. You don't get to buy it, film it, and call it activism. He wasn't done. Jon cited reports, including the Times and Page 6, that questioned whether the Sussexes camp financially contributed to the event's sponsorship. While nothing was proven, the optics were devastating. Even if they didn't pay directly, Jon said, it still looks like they rented virtue for the night. He compared it to that viral moment when a celebrity donates to charity and then tweets about it before the check clears. Harry and Meghan, he said, are like influencers who discovered empathy has a red carpet. Then came the bombshell. Jon claimed that according to several American entertainment correspondents, the organization that gave the award had previously offered similar honors to high-profile donors. In other words, it might be pay-to-praise philanthropy. If you can Venmo your way into sainthood, he joked, then I'm Mother Teresa with a Discover card. The crowd went wild, but behind the laughter was something darker. The implication that Harry and Meghan, once global symbols of compassion, had traded sincerity for PR survival. The energy in the studio changed. This wasn't just comedy. It was an intervention in prime time. Jon's tone shifted from laughter to empathy. You know what's sad? He said softly. They could have built something real. They had the world's attention, sympathy, and resources, and now it's like watching two people who won the lottery and hired a PR firm to spend it for them. The crowd murmured, half laughing, half stunned, and for the first time, the camera cut to Jon's serious expression. If your legacy depends on who claps for you, maybe it's not a legacy, maybe it's a performance. Within hours, hashtag Jon Stewart versus Sussexes and hashtag Humanitarian for Hire were trending across X and TikTok. Clips of the segment hit 4 million views in 10 hours. Commentators called it the moment late-night TV rediscovered honesty. Even political podcasts joined the debate, with one host saying, Jon didn't just mock them, he said what millions were too afraid to say. But the story didn't end with the roast, because reportedly, Meghan's team called Comedy Central hours after the show aired, and what they demanded behind the scenes made the situation 10 times worse. The next morning, the Daily Show's clip was everywhere. Reposted, stitched, remixed. By breakfast, millions of viewers had already turned Jon Stewart's monologue into a cultural referendum on the Sussex brand. But according to insiders cited by Variety, Meghan's PR team wasn't laughing. An unnamed source allegedly claimed her representatives reached out to Comedy Central, asking if the segment could be clarified to avoid misinterpretation. Jon Stewart's response? He opened his next show with a grin and said, Clarify? Sure, I meant every word. The audience erupted. The jab landed harder than the first. He continued, You can't sue satire, and you can't rebrand truth. With that line, the feud wasn't just viral, it was historic. Online, fans began dissecting the Sussexes' recent pattern of awards and appearances. Commentators noted that the couple had received at least 5 humanitarian or leadership recognitions in under 18 months, many from organizations where they were major donors or sponsors. A journalist on The Independent wrote, "At this point, it's less about causes and more about optics. Their philanthropy feels curated for applause." And Jon Stewart? He saw straight through it. He quipped, "They're not fighting for causes, they're fighting for coverage. There's a difference." This was the kind of criticism the couple couldn't escape. No palace protocol. No royal press office. Just raw public accountability, delivered by one of America's sharpest satirical minds. One columnist put it perfectly. It's like if Kim Kardashian started giving herself journalism awards. There's a ceiling to how much self-congratulation people can tolerate. Jon leaned into that same point with another joke that broke the internet. They're like the Netflix version of Gandhi, bingeable but not believable. Then came the reveal that shocked even the Sussex supporters. According to a New York Post follow-up, an anonymous donor reportedly covered production costs for the gala's red carpet and marketing, the same event that crowned Harry and Meghan Humanitarians of the Year. Stewart pounced. "Oh, so they didn't pay for the award, they just paid for the lighting. Totally different." He paused, letting the sarcasm hang heavy in the room. If sainthood had a subscription plan, they'd be platinum members. The crowd roared. But beneath the humor was something deeper. Jon didn't hate them. He pitied them. These two left the palace to find freedom, he said, and now they're prisoners of their own brand. You don't need a crown to crave validation. The line hit like a gut punch. Even the studio audience grew quiet for a moment. Jon, known for laughing to the madness of politics, had just dissected the anatomy of fame, using Harry and Meghan as Exhibit A. Social media went nuclear. Hashtag StewartRoast trended in the UK and the US for 48 hours. The clip amassed 12 million views on YouTube and TikTok combined. Piers Morgan called it the most honest 4 minutes on TV this year. Even neutral outlets like BBC Entertainment reported that Jon Stewart's remarks reignited global debate about royal PR and authenticity. And as for Harry and Meghan, their official site, Archewell, quietly posted a one-line update the next day. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain committed to mental health advocacy worldwide. No mention of Jon. No mention of the backlash. Just silence. And that silence screamed louder than any denial could. In the following days, late-night host from Jimmy Fallon to Bill Maher echoed Stewart's segment. Even Saturday Night Live joined the fray, spoofing the gala with a sketch titled The Humanitarians of Themselves. At this point, the damage was done. What was supposed to be a PR triumph, the New York Humanitarian Gala, had transformed into another chapter of royal ridicule. Jon Stewart closed the saga perfectly on his next show. "Look, I don't hate Harry and Meghan. I just think when you keep chasing applause, eventually the audience notices you stop doing the work." The message was simple. In a world obsessed with image, authenticity is still undefeated. They wanted to be the face of compassion. Instead, they became the meme of contradiction. If you thought that was wild, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Do you agree with Jon Stewart, or do you think he went too far? Wait till you see what leaked off camera. Insiders claim Meghan's PR team drafted an open letter to late-night networks right after the segment aired. You won't believe what it said.